Welcome to Pyrotechnics, the rock and metal music podcast. We take a look at the relevant and irrelevant side of the genres we all love, and hopefully learn a few things along the way. We also throw in some banging tracks as well. So, turn the dial to 11, and let's go for it.
Pyrotechnics is proudly sponsored by Fireworks Rock and Metal magazine. 164 pages packed full of interviews, reviews and features all about your favourite genres of music. Our latest edition is available from our website, fireworks-magazine.com, or visit your local WH Smiths or McCall's. UK subscriptions are now just £32 for 4 issues. Fireworks Rock and Metal magazine, for enthusiasts, by enthusiasts.
In today's podcast, our main topic is, are CDs getting worse? The chaps will also give us their rants in 60 seconds sound off. We have views from the news and our famous lyric game. We also have our quiz, can James pull one back? All this plus great music selected by the chaps. Stick around to listen. Welcome to Pyrotechnics, the podcast that covers all rock and metal music. Sorry this one's a bit later than we had planned. We've had a few issues that stopped us from doing this podcast, but we're back. We're back better than ever, I hope. And with me again today, I have my usual resident experts. They're certainly resident. The expert bit is a bit dodgy, to be fair. But first of all, we have our metal expert, which is our deputy editor, Dave Cockett. Welcome, Dave.
Hi, everybody.
And we have our rock expert, the art editor who makes the magazine look so damn sexy. That is Mr. James Gaden. Welcome, James.
Thank you very much. Good to be back.
Right then, chaps. So, pin back your earlugs. We're going to go straight into the quiz question. Now, for viewers and listeners of this, they will know that James is losing 2-0. So this is hopefully a chance for him to get one back, or will Dave increase his lead and look even more smug than he does at this moment in time? Right then, chaps. So, which of these groups' first album to enter the charts peaked the highest? So, your choices are Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden, funnily enough, Queen 2 by Queen, and before the purists get onto my back and say, hang on a minute, Queen came before Queen 2, apparently Queen 2 charted before Queen did. So, that's what it's going to be. And that's come from the officialcharts.com. So if you have any issue with them, you can go and have a word with them. The third choice for the chaps is Let There Be Rock by AC/DC, On Through the Night by Def Leppard, and Black Sabbath. And take a guess who that came from. That's right, Black Sabbath, funnily enough. Now, you can't see this, viewers, but these two are looking studious now, I'm telling you. They're really pondering it in their mind. Either that or James is trying hard not to look like he's Googling the answer, one or the other. It's hard to tell.
Can't Google that quick.
Right then, so while the chaps digest that and try and work out the correct answer, we're going to go on to this. So this segment is Views on the News. As you know, on Fireworks website, www.fireworks-magazine.com, we put some news up that's going on in the rock and metal world, and these are 5 that caught my attention, but we'll see what the chaps make of them as well. So the first one, Bryan Adams. He's unleashed a new single called War Machine. Marilyn Manson has dared to raise his head above the parapet again, debuting a new single called Raise the Red Flag. Eclipse have shared a new video, Still My Hero, from the up-and-coming album Megalomanium 2. Stryper has shared a new video from their forthcoming album When We Were Kings, and it is actually the title track. And Richie Kotzen has announced a new album, Nomad. So some big names there, chaps. What are we making of that news?
All good, I think. In generally speaking, the Bryan Adams, I'm not quite sure of the wisdom of Bryan Adams doing a version of one of Kiss's heaviest tracks, but as he was involved in the writing, I understand. I guess he's as entitled to as anybody, but you ain't going to be Kiss doing War Machine, so part of me says, why bother?
Yes.
Richie Kotzen, anything Richie Kotzen touches turns to gold, really. I understand that there's a new Smith Kotzen in the pipeline as well, but his solo stuff's interesting. In some regards, it's an extension of the Winery Dogs, but he's got bits of all sorts that he does in it, and he's always listable. He's always it's not pretentious, it's not flash, it's just well written, good songs.
Yeah.
Eclipse, there is the new album, which I understand was written at the same time as the last one, written and recorded at the same time as the last one.
It was, yeah.
Is it better than the last one? I don't know. Eclipse are one of those bands that lots of people seem to think keep getting better and better and better. Not so sure myself. I'm not sure if they've plateaued and it's got a bit samey, but it's a good enough song. Striper. I won't say I had a problem. Back in the day when Striper came out and it was all Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam, no offence to anybody, it used to get on my nerves a little bit because it was just bait in your face all the time. But I think that since they've come back, firstly, they've got heavier, but they've got at least got less. No, I wouldn't say that the lyrics are any less praise and worship than they were before, but maybe I've got older. You don't notice it so much. I think Striper is good now, if not better than they were at the peak in the 80s. So anything new from Striper has always got to be worth a listen. Has that covered them all? Have I missed something?
Mr. Manson.
Oh yeah. I think in some regards this guy is his generation's next step on from Alice Cooper. It's always about shock value, always about pushing things to the extreme. Musically, never really been my cup of tea, but he's got his place. So he's an individual. He's not one of these corporate machines that keep pushing out increasingly bland, watered down variations of the same thing. So long may it continue. Best of luck to him.
Fair enough. James, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, there was a couple of those that definitely piqued my interest. When I haven't heard it yet, but when I saw about the Bryan Adams one, I was like, the Kiss one, because like Dave, I knew he wrote it, so I will be interested to see how his version compares, because I was quite a fan of that track. And to pick up on what Dave said there, Richie Kotzen, I've liked Richie Kotzen for a long time, and I reviewed the new album in the upcoming issue, and I really like Dave says, he doesn't really do bad records, and this one, I think, is a really good snapshot of what he's capable of as a musician. It covers pretty much all the bases. You've got like the out and out rockers, you've got the funky stuff, you've got some jazzy stuff, you've got the stripped down, and it's just pretty much all him playing everything, singing everything. He's just one of those annoying people who's good at everything. So, I'm glad that he's got another album out. I wasn't really expecting one this quick after he did the Smith Kotzen project, but yeah, apparently there's another one of them coming too. So long may it continue, because I can't remember the last time Richie did something that I was disappointed with.
Fair enough. We have an interview as well, don't we, with Richie in this latest edition, 108?
We do indeed.
Yeah.
So there's another good reason for getting your pre-ordering before anyone else. And we've also got an interview with Eclipse. Now, I'm going to have to take up a bit of umbrage here with Dave and say, yeah, no, they haven't plateaued at all. I'm a big Eclipse fan. And I had the honour of interviewing Eric Matson for the issue 108. Very nice chap. Very generous with his time. Great interview, if I say so myself. And I also got to review their album as well. And I think it's actually probably one of the best ones they've done. I do agree with the chaps, though, about the Bryan Adams one. I've listened to this. Dave, have you listened to it?
Yeah. Curiosity got the better of me, and yes, I did. And no, I wasn't overly impressed.
I was going to say, I can see from the look on your face that it didn't impress. I must admit, I found it hard listening to.
I got 4 bars in, and the first thing that struck me was why.
Okay.
Like I said, you're not going to beat the Kiss version, so why bother?
No, I'm of the opinion it's possibly just a little too heavy for Bryan Adams to be singing. It's not, it didn't sit comfortably. I don't know. It's just a version that's, like you say, you've got the Kiss version. That's probably going to be the one that everyone's going to remember. And this one's, I hate to say, because I do like Bryan Adams, I must admit, but I think this one is a second-rate one, which is a shame. Right. If you want to read more news, we've got loads of it on the website. So, and it's all free as well. You don't have to pay for the news. So I'll go and have a look at it. Nice free content. And like I say, it's fireworks-magazine.com. Give yourself a look. And if you like what we do, stick around, have a look at the rest of the website. There's plenty of stuff on there. Right. So now we're going to play some music because, to be fair, it's a rock and metal podcast. So we might as well live up to what we do. And this song has been chosen by James. Originally, he wanted one by Hulk Hogan on, but we pinned him down and said, no, that's not going to happen. So he's chosen this one. This is My House by Royal Republic from the album Love Cop. Here we go. And there we have it. That was My House by Royal Republic from Love Cop, the album. And that was James's choice, and a damn good one as well. Right, we're going to move on now to this.
Badass.
That's right. It's a 60-second sound off. This is where James and Dave get a minute each. I will emphasize again the word minute. To basically have a rant or a praise. It may be a praise. Knowing these two, I'm guessing it's not going to be, judging especially from the titles they're giving me. So, James, let me put 45 seconds on. Why am I doing that? That's a minute. Let me put a minute on.
Short changing me.
So, James's topic that he's chosen to talk about is it's not all about Amazon. Sounds interesting. So, James, your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, so basically this is because I see a lot on Facebook and things like that about people going, Amazon are charging X amount for this album. Are they having a laugh? And it really winds me up because Amazon do what they like, and then people sit there moaning about it and then pay it. Don't. Amazon is not the only outlet where you can buy music. It's far from having a monopoly. People have got too conditioned into, I'll just order it off Amazon because it's easy. But that's resulted in Amazon marking CDs up, marking vinyl up to mental prices when stuff comes out. And then they'll slash it like months down the line when they just can't shift any more of them. But if you want an album when it comes out and you don't want to pay Amazon prices, buy it from HMV, buy it from eBay, buy it from an independent seller. You'll get it cheaper.
Yeah, yeah, can't disagree there, to be fair. And yeah, I understand what you say when you say that. There's a lot of moaning towards Amazon. You're right. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Quite correct.
I haven't bought an album off Amazon for ages. I keep buying off like the independent sellers because I'd rather the money go to them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, again, fair enough point. Listeners, do you agree with James's rant? If you do, drop us a message in the comments or, let us know somehow. Again, I think he's absolutely spot on myself. Right, Dave, 1 minute. Let me put it on the stopwatch. There we go. Now, Dave's naughty. He has to put in rude words. He just likes to hear me saying them on the podcast. But it's called "Stop Fleecing the Fans, You Chiseling Bastards." So, Dave, on your chosen topic, you have 60 seconds starting now.
Okay. Common consensus is that there's more music available now than there's ever been. And it's absolutely right. The stuff that's getting released is increasing exponentially. So why do we keep getting reissues at ever more exorbitant prices? 26 CD versions of classic albums when all you want to hear is the classic album. And they're asking 80, 90, 100, 120 notes for CDs, let alone vinyl. And they're offering relatively little that's new, or certainly stuff that's worth hearing more than once. We've got the original album. We've got it remixed. We've got it remixed in 5.1. We've got it remixed by Gladys next door. We've got studio outtakes when they went to the pub. Who cares? Classic albums are classic albums because they were classic albums back then. You adding more bells and whistles to it and adding zeros to the price for a new version isn't, it's not cutting it. It's ripping people off and it's taking it away from new artists. Stop now.
1 minute and 9 seconds. Go. We'll let you have that.
That's not bad, to be fair.
No, to Dave, no, it's not exactly. Yeah, I did actually have penciled in the notes an hour, so that's okay. But to be fair, valid points again, absolutely spot on. I got Wasp's box set to review, and that does not come cheap. I think that's, like you said, that's into the 100 notes price range. I think there's a first.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's 5 albums plus a rarities album or something like that, and it did sting a bit when you see the price. And I've also reviewing in the latest edition Lindsay Buckingham's first 3 albums remastered plus a rarities album, and that's about 60 quid for 40. And you don't get a booklet with them. You don't get hardly. You get a little flimsy insert that's got all the lyrics on with credits, and you need a magnifying glass to read the bloody things. It's that small. I mean, I've got bad eyesight as it is, and I should wear glasses, but even with my glasses on, I struggle to read these things, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, so quite agree. So again, peeps, if you agree with James and Dave, please drop us a comment down below. They both come up with some fantastic. They always do, to be fair. I've got to give them the dues. They do come up with some fantastic subjects and also very valid. And if you agree, obviously, let us know. We're just going to have a short little interlude while we have a partner advert. Check out Heavy Radio for some awesome rock and metal music online all day. They also have the Michael Spigos Melodic Rock and Metal Show every Sunday. Head over to www.heavy.radio and pin back your ears. And there we go. That's that over and done with. Let's move on now to the main topic. Now, those of you that follow our social media feeds may have seen that recently we put up a post, an unpopular opinion post that digipacks were better than old-fashioned CD cases. By God, did you lot have your say? It went absolutely mental, and we thank you so much for all the comments that got put on. It seemed in the end to be about a 50-50 split, with digipacks being favourites for some people and the old-fashioned CDs being favourite for other people. But the question that we're going to, or the subject that we're going to be debating today is the state of CDs. Are they getting worse? Now, the reason why I'm asking this is because I've just mentioned the Lindsay Buckingham one. I also had a Billy Idol one to review. And again, the writing is so small and it's on such colour background that it's so hard to read. And this is something I've been noticing with CD booklets and various other things, is that the material that you're getting nowadays is terribly planned out. or terribly designed. And I know James will be coming into this because obviously he's a graphic designer as well, and I know that he has done some work for many artists. Again, not just because he's on the program and because he's a friend, but James does do some fantastic work and does pay attention to things like this. So you can read the booklets that James does, and he understands that. But a lot of people don't seem to understand it, and a lot of it seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. And even then, you're not even getting a CD case sometimes nowadays. You're just getting a digipack, which falls to bits or breaks or comes damaged in the post straight away. I think we had one reviewer whose CD came and was absolutely buggered up beyond belief. And it's driving me mad, to be honest with you. I'm fed up of getting substandard stuff. And it seems to be that this has got worse recently, much more than I've noticed in the past. So my question today, and we're going to start with Dave on this one, is the state of CDs getting worse? Is the packaging getting worse? Is the design getting worse? Are we being shortchanged for our money, or is it just me being a complaining old fart?
I'm tempted to say it's you being a complaining old fart, but I agree with you on a lot of it.
You would.
I think you could extend it further than that, and you could extend it to the actual quality of the content musically. Is the standard of that getting worse? And I think on the whole that the answer has to be yes. I think part of the problem with that is that there's no filters anymore. There's no A&R guys that's anybody can whip up a CD, get 1,500 pressed up, sell them off the website.
Yeah.
Good luck to them if they can. But it's the actual the artwork. I mean, the first thing that always struck me about albums was the artwork. Before you had a note, you saw the cover. And the cover, you used to go to the racks, and to jump out of it, you'd think, wow, I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it was. So I think in that regard, the artwork, as a general rule of thumb, is getting worse, getting cheaper. Looks nasty, looks cheap, a lot of it.
Yeah.
The packaging, yeah. The old CD dual case versus digipack argument, to a certain degree, I think is irrelevant. If the packaging's good and the quality's good, and you look after it, you get people saying, "But I can't take my CD digipacks out in the car." Did you take your fucking vinyl out in the car? No, you didn't. Burn it to a CDR, stick it on a memory stick. Look after your CDs, look after your digipads. If they're good quality, they'll last. If you want to listen to it regularly, burn it onto something or stick it in the car, stick it on an MP3 thing. Yeah, I get that 320 MP3s aren't WAV files. But you're not, unless you've got 10 grand's worth of hi-fi equipment in your Morris Minor, you're not going to notice that much of a difference. But in all seriousness, yes, I think that there's a number of factors, quite apart from the music and the fact it's an affordability thing in terms of putting these things together.
Yeah.
Cheaper quality cardboard, cheaper quality plastic. It's all feeding into making an increasingly inferior product. And I know myself, you look at CD covers from CD cases, dual cases, because that's all they were 25 years ago, really. And the plastic's a hell of a lot better than a lot of the new ones that are coming out now. They look cheap, they're nasty, they're flimsy. You can press them like that and you think, press that too hard, that's going to break. So I can see why these things are getting damaged in the post. Yeah. And it's the same with digipacks. Is that the quality of the cardboard, they're getting thinner. There's not really that much cardboard padding around the CD or the actual the tray that's stuck on. So the number of times you come and you get a digipack where the insert CD tray, the spokes are broken, you're screwed at that point because you can't replace it. So I do get why people say I don't like digipacks, but I just think it's an industry-wide thing where quality's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and you're getting a cheaper and cheaper and a nastier product. And that goes for the music in some regards as well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to sidestep in the music issue, because to be fair, that's something we could probably do as a complete separate podcast. But I agree. Yes, we've had this conversation before with the quality of stuff going from bad to worse. But do you have issues with the writing in a lot of these things? Because I struggle. I mean, my eyesight isn't bad, but it's not the best. But it's, to me, the writing's just getting so small. I mean, I love vinyl for the simple reason it's massive. You can read that quite easily, but obviously CDs are somewhat different. But I do struggle, and I think a lot of the problem is the colours that people use. Like the Billy Idol one was, I think it was white, red, and blue with white writing. Well, of course, white on white, that's usually a fairly bad start, you know, and then with the red was so bright and brilliant that it just sort of drowned it out a bit as well. I mean, stuff like that, I struggle. Do people not think about these things when they design? I mean, obviously, James, we're going to come to you fairly soon with that. Being a designer, it'd be interesting to get your point on. But Dave, do you have issues with that kind of stuff?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the worst I ever saw was red writing on a green background.
No.
I mean, anybody colourblind, it looks like a bloody blank page.
Yeah.
But we all know that the best is a white background, black writing. You can't beat that. It looks the best. It reads the easiest. And so, yeah, wherever you're putting coloured writing on a coloured background, you're going to degrade the quality. I'd agree with you 100%.
Brilliant.
Stop doing it.
Yeah, no, I quite agree. Right, James, A, you know, what do you think about the argument? And B, obviously from a graphic designer point of view as well, you know, what I'm presuming as well that the bands must have a big say in what they want designing. And so to a certain extent, your hands may be tied.
It's a sliding scale on both points, to be honest. So, yeah, some of the albums that are coming out, I even ranted about one a few podcasts ago with Dirty Honey, where you bought the album and there was knack all in it. You opened it, there's a disc, and that's it. There was no lyrics, no credits, no, just like, yeah, it was, these are the songs, enjoy. And I'm like, I might as well have downloaded that for what I got. And then on the other end of the scale, you get somebody like Joe Bonamassa. Everything he puts out that comes in virtually a bloody telephone directory. It's massive. Got like a perfect bound booklet with like 30 odd pages in it and photos and all sorts. And he always makes a real big effort with this. So he obviously thinks there's value in that. And I agree, because every time I see a Joe Bonamassa album, I'm impressed with how it's packaged. Iron Maiden, they do it. Their last album, they made a real big effort with. You know, I mean, it sort of depends. A lot of the big record companies, they'll put out albums with booklets. I think it tends to be more independent artists trying to penny pinch because they're on a budget. So they'll think, oh, I'll just do a 4-panel digipack, front cover, back cover, one panel inlay and a disc. That'll do. And yeah, it might be cheap for the band, but it feels like you're getting a cheap product. I might as well just buy the MP3s if that's all you're offering. There's not really a lot else there. In terms of the design, some artists are really hands-on with what they want and have a very specific vision. Other artists are really sort of free and easy and give you carte blanche. And I've experienced both ends of the scale. But there are things as a designer that you should be steering them away from, like with Dave mentioning that red and the green text. I mean, that's literally something you taught as a graphic designer. It's like a mnemonic. Red and green should not be seen for that very reason, that it doesn't read well. And like Dave says, black text on white is always easy. You can reverse it out, white text on black, that's fine. When you start getting into colours, you have to be aware of how dark the background is. And, you know, you choose accordingly. Because when I first started doing fireworks, a few of the readers were like, oh, some of the coloured backgrounds I struggle with. So I was like, okay, I took that into account and I reined that in. And people have been a lot happier since, because ultimately, if the information, you want to be able to read it, it doesn't need to look that pretty. But yeah, some of the stuff that they put in, it's like they've crammed it in. And if you want to put it in, spend a bit extra to actually make it legible, or don't bother. Put it on your website. All the lyrics and all the credits are on here. Go have a look. Because I've seen some bands do that, and they'll maybe like tie it in so it's like all the lyrics and all the credits are at www.thebandsname.com, and then they'll just have a photo. Yeah, okay, fair enough. If you want to do it like that, at least then you can still experience finding out who played what and who did what and who wrote what. But when they're just like, yeah, slipcase, when it's basically just like a mini vinyl sleeve for a CD, there's nothing there. And you're like, what's the point of that? It's like a promo when we used to get them. I wouldn't want to pay 15 quid for that. That doesn't feel like value for money at all. So I do think it's important that when anybody puts out an album, whether you're on a label or whether you're independent, that you make sure that it's actually packaged to the point where you think you're getting value for money. Otherwise, why would you not stream?
Yeah, I'd agree with you there to a certain extent, James, and you're absolutely right. The Iron Maidens and the Joe Bonamassas of this world are selling lots of product and putting lots of bums on seats. and therefore they've got the financial backing to be able to do it.
Sure.
I do sympathise with the bands that are just starting out, that just want to to get something out there that people can buy. But there are certain things that you're absolutely right that they need to do. They need to get their information right. They need to get it laid out right. They need to get the credits on there. And there's a naivety at times that you see time and again. There's a rush just to get something into print, to get something out there. And you think, had you just taken a step back, given it another couple of weeks to think about it, you could have made it so much better.
Yeah.
And even within a budget, you can see things that have been done within a budget that have been done really, really well. But I think that there are too many people in the chain. There are too many factories that's quite easy just to say, oh yeah, you do this, this, and this, leave it to us.
Yeah.
And they'll knock out what they can knock out as cheaply as they can, as quickly as they can, and take as much money off the bands for doing so. But you're quite right. If you're spending, even on an independent release you're buying from the band, you're spending 15, 20 quid. You want to see something for your 15, 20 quid. Otherwise, like you say, why do you not buy the MP3s?
Yeah. Well, some people, it's all about the penny pinching, like you said as well. I did have contact with a label recently. I won't say what it is, but I approached them and offered like my services to see if I could do any jobs for them. And they had a look at my portfolio and they said, oh yeah, how much did you charge for that? And I thought, oh great, they're interested. So I told them the price, and which I didn't think was out the way, which plenty of other labels have paid me. And they turned around and says, oh no, we pay that for a box set, not just for an album. I was like, really? A box set for that price? Anyway, the last two things I saw them put out was completely generated by AI. So that sort of tells you where their head's at money-wise. You just knocking out any old artificial crap. That'll do. Package it up. Out it goes.
Yeah. I thought that, I remember the days when you look at Roger Deanart, you look at Hypnosis, you look at Rodney Matthews, a quick plug for a guy who's in this issue as well. But they were artists.
Yeah.
They were people that that actually knew how to draw pictures. They knew about perspective. They knew how to catch your eye. They knew how to draw you in. You look at On a Storyteller's Night, always been my favorite album cover. You could look at that for hours and hours and hours, put it down, look at it for hours again the day after, and you'll see something that you didn't see the first time. And that's just brilliant. And that's what an album cover should do to you. But I think it started to go downhill in that regard 20, 30 years ago when clip art became common.
Yeah.
And the people are just, oh, we'll have a bit of that, we'll put a bit of that in, we'll put a bit of that. You put it together and it looks naff. And it looked naff then, it looks naff now, and there are still people doing it, and it looks naff.
Yeah.
Which is why when you get people that come along like yourself, like Tristan, who's designed the Sweet album cover amongst many others, and you look at it and you think, wow, that's somebody who's an artist, somebody who knows what they're doing. And again, I appreciate that not everybody's going to be able to pay a Rodney Matthews price for a cover, but there are means and ways around it. I mean, for God's sake, if you want something, get a mate to take a decent black and white picture of the band, stick that on. He's got to be better than some of these awful pictures and covers that we do see. Well, and I think there's an education process.
Well, again, I won't mention names, but we had that with this issue, didn't we? When I requested some promo photos for an artist, and they were like, I've not got any.
Yeah.
That's like,
how are you going to promote your product?
Yeah, I've not got any photos. Well, you should have. It's not difficult.
No, not at all. There's a naivety out there in terms of the whole package, and that you can forgive. What you can't forgive is the people that's actually chiseling off the top of it, that's making the money, that's coming along and saying, right, that's cheap and nasty, that'll do. Let's see how many of them we can stick in Tesco's and Pilot Eye and sell it cheap.
Yeah,
that really sticks in my craw. That does.
So if I came to you, James, and then said, right, I'm so and so, I've got a band, I want to do the CD cover, blah blah blah, and I want a 16-page booklet added into it as well. Is it a massive cost? Is there a difference between a 16-page, a 20-page, a 24-page, whatever? Is it a huge difference?
Well, Obviously, the more pages you have, the more time it takes to lay out, so you get charged accordingly. But I always try and charge what I think is fair to the budget I'm working with. So if an independent artist comes to me and wants help, I'll look and I'll say, right, okay, I know they're on a limited budget, so I'll try and do them a deal. I won't go out my way to say, oh, well, yeah, I charge, I don't know, 500 quid, take it or leave it. I'll negotiate with them and say, right, how many are you pressing? What are you getting done? How can I? And I'll help them as best I can, because ultimately, if it means I get some work and it helps them out, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'll all depend. Like with Dave mentioning Tristan there, so like some of the artwork he's done has obviously been bespoke illustrations that he's been asked to do. So that would be more expensive than somebody coming in and going, like I did the other day. He had a photo and he was like, I want to use this photo. Can you help me lay it out and put the logo on? And I need it in this font, but I don't have to do it. So because he was bringing me the elements, that's obviously a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I wouldn't charge the same as if I was having to create something from scratch. So that's how I price things. I'm not sure if everyone does it like that, but I'm not out to sort of stitch anybody up. I take a look at each job and price it accordingly. But like, I always think price modestly and you'll get more work.
Yeah, most definitely.
Basically.
Yeah, it's like anything. It seems to be a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
It was like all these sellers that you see on eBay that try and undercut one another by a penny or a penny here and a penny there. I mean, ultimately, it just results in an inferior product for the people that are going to buy it, that are going to experience it. If you put cheap product out, it's what your band gets labelled as. The Dirty Honey thing that you mentioned earlier, I really don't understand. The first one, okay, maybe when it first came out and they did it independently. Well, there's some money behind that. They're getting a real push. They're a great band.
They are.
They're getting a real push. Yeah, the product, it looks cheap and nasty. And the second album was just the same.
Yeah,
was just the same. The first album that they issued over here, they issued it with the EP. And you're quite right. It was it was almost like a little mini vinyl with virtually nothing, just 2 CDs in this little mini vinyl packaging thing. And the second album's no better. Now, I can understand people are trying to balance that with, okay, let's not use plastic. Fine, if you don't want to go down that route. Let's use digipacks because they're more environmentally friendly. Let's make them thinner because using less cardboard there, it's more environmentally friendly. But if that's the route that you're going to go down, there's surely got to be better ways to make things look attractive, make people actually want to buy it, rather than just look at it, this is crap, took that out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing worse than it being unenvironmentally friendly than a pile of thousands of CDs in crap packaging that nobody wants to buy that then has to go into landfill or wherever.
I disagree. Do you think as consumers, though, that we're to blame? Do we have a right to demand lyrics? Do we have a right to demand photos? Do we have a right to demand credits? Should we be having all these things on inlays and booklets and CDs? I mean, do we even have a right to a booklet? I mean, what do you think about that? Are we to blame? Are we demanding too much?
No, I don't think so, because if a band has gone to the trouble of writing the lyrics, I assume they've got something to say. So therefore, being able to read them and see who came up with them, that seems like a no-brainer to me. It's no different to like if you bought a film and it comes with commentary and it comes with like a booklet inside, and you know, some of them don't come with anything. It's like, well, I might as well just streamed it. I might as well just watch that on Disney Plus or whatever. There's nothing in the physical product that I'm gaining. But that's the point. The physical product should be a package. It shouldn't just be, I've bought the songs, because then if you're doing that, you just buy the MP3s. It should have a full thing to encapsulate it. Like Dave said, there should be some good artwork to catch your eye. There should be like a photo of who the band are. It should tell you who wrote what. It should tell you who played what. It should tell you who produced it. It should tell you where it was done. Because the people who buy physical product tend to be interested in that sort of thing.
But do they have a demand? Do they have a right to know that kind of thing?
It's that is a difficult one. Because I mean, I'm a lot older than you two. I go back to the 70s when you used to buy vinyl and it was a single vinyl album. you got a cover, you got scant information on the back, and you took the LP out, and it was just in a plain white sleeve.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Then inner sleeves with lyrics and stuff printed on became a little bit more prevalent as it got into the 80s.
Yeah.
So I can get, in some regards, what's happened is that the industry moved on from what it was, and the product got better, and they started to provide that sort of thing as a matter of course rather than just as a one-off. And I think people have got used to it. And so therefore, when you go back to something like Dirty Honey again, had that come out as an LP in the late 70s, it would have been exactly like that, only bigger. So I can kind of sympathise in that regard. And I think we got complacent. And I suspect that it was done originally back then to give you that sort of information, because there was no internet. There was no way that you could get hold of that information. Whereas now anybody can sit at the keyboard, key into Google, tell me the lyrics to this, and find 101 different versions, all 101 different words. So it's a bit like once you've let the genie out of the bottle, it's difficult to stick the lid back on and stick him back in again. So I can kind of sympathise with somebody who comes along and then says, but you've not put this in, you've not put that, everybody else does. But I'm just trying to say that it wasn't always the case.
No, it wasn't.
No.
I remember that as well. LPs and white sleeves, and that was it. Yeah. You didn't get one picture on the front, one picture on the back, list of the songs, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you didn't even get a track listing.
No, you didn't. But no, I mean, obviously, graphics designer, when you see certain things, I mean, you must get frustrated. You must get really, really annoyed. What basic principles, apart from obviously the colors and black on white and stuff like that, do you stick to? Apologies if you heard that. That's my diabetic alarm going off again. Damn thing. If I drop down dead halfway through the episode, these two will just continue, so don't worry about it.
We'll continue without you. Yeah.
No, we'll be all right.
We'll call ambulance when we're done.
They love me so much. So yeah, what principles do yours guy go by? You know, if the right bullshit client came to you and said, I want this, I want that, and you're thinking, oh God, this is never going to work, how do you try and change their mind?
Well, ultimately, if they ask for something that I knew would look terrible, I'll explain to them why I'll think it looks terrible. And then occasionally you have to show them. So you have to do what they ask, but then I'll tend to do what I think should be done. So they get a side-by-side comparison. And almost every time they'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of see what you mean. And then they'll go down the path where they should have been going in the first place. There's the odd one who's just like, no, I like it like this. Well, then I've washed my hands of it. There's nothing more I can do to help you. If that's how you want it, that's how you're having it, but it looks crap. Sometimes you have to just suck it up. You know, customers always right and all that. But for the most part, if they come in, I'll say, right, okay, you could do that, but if you do that, then this is going to happen. And I've had it before with people who are like, oh, I want this picture and I want it in the center pages. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have a staple right through your face if you do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't, because they aren't thinking of like the print side of it. They're just thinking of how it's going to, and like, that's going to have to be shoved over there, or that's going to, oh right, yeah, can you do that? And then I'll do it. But I have known people who will just take it at face value, do it, and then they'll get a finished product like, a bloody staple through my face, which is what you asked for. I won't do that. I will flag it up because that to me is being professional.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the odd one who just won't listen. I would cite Manic Eden as a prime example. One of my favourite albums. I love Adrian Vandenberg, but he decided to do the artwork himself, and he should have stuck to playing the guitar because that is horrendous. You look at the lyrics on that, and it's all handwritten in red on blue. The writing's not great. Even if it was black and white, you'd struggle to read it. And he makes a complete ass of it. And I'm like, it's a good job the album's good, Adrian, because the state of this, honestly. So I'd have loved to have been involved with that album years ago. But, you know, sometimes the artist's like, no, that's what I want. So that's what they get.
Yeah. I think sometimes they are their own worst enemies.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing, is that you employ a producer to give a balanced outside view, to make your songs better because you're too close to them. And the same thing could apply to the packaging. You employ a graphic designer to do a job, not for you to tell him what you want. just this is my remit. Off you go. You come back with whatever. You tell me what you think. But it's just sometimes their egos of certain people will come and say, "Nah, I want this, and this. It's got to be like that."
It was like when I did the Heavy Water album for Biff and Seb Barford. They sent instructions that they wanted something sort of like 60s vibe, San Francisco, surf culture, blah, blah, blah. And they sent a couple like photos I'd found off the internet, this sort of thing. I was like, okay. I did 4 different variants, and the record company liked all 4. And they was like, but we like version 2 the best. And I showed my business partner, and she's like, oh, version 2, that's the best one. I showed my best friend, who was the one who taught me, and he was like, I like all of them, but 2's the most balanced, that one. So I was like, it's going to be 2 then, isn't it? It's going to be 2. But then Biff and Seb looked at him and was like, do you know what? We've changed our minds. We want to have water on it instead. Went for a completely different angle. I was like, okay, slightly annoying, but that's what they want. So we did the water angle, and then everyone, what it came out as, I actually really liked. But it was a million miles from the original concept. And sometimes that happens. So you just have to get on with it. You can't be married to an idea, because sometimes what they have in their head, when they see it actually realize, it's like, yeah, maybe not. So you just have to evolve with it.
Yeah.
So going a little bit off kilter now. So box sets, a particular area of displeasure sometimes for me. You get occasionally in these box sets, you get like these unseen photographs, and you get this booklet or this montage of photographs and stuff like that. They're just randomly slapped around and seem to be there just haphazard. You know, again, what do you think the process is behind this? Why are we getting booklets of all these unseen photographs? And I'm always dubious if half of them are actually unseen. You know, first time ever dug out of the archive or somewhere, and you're sort of looking at it thinking, I'm pretty sure I saw that one on an album 20 odd years ago, and you know, things like that. Why does it seem to be that these booklets as well can't be designed properly? I mean, you've got box sets out, vinyl box sets are pretty big. You know, CD ones, yes, obviously going back to the same argument we're having now, but vinyl ones are fairly big. Why again can't these be designed properly? What is stopping people from designing these bloody things properly?
I think it's all down to cost. I think it's all down to pilot. I sell it cheapest for as much as we can. Let's fleece them and rip them off before they figure us out, become lynchers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of these instances where you've got there's been a prevalence of late of these the Atlantic Years box sets where you've got 5 albums from a band or whatever, and all these. And I question how much of an involvement the band actually have. They don't own the rights to these songs or the albums. It's just somebody sticking them out, and that's just somebody. It's indicative of a market that says to me, "We're screwed. Yeah. What we're going to do? How are we going to prolong this as much as we possibly can?" I know. We know we're not going to sell any copies of Joe Bloggs down the road, even though he's brilliant, because nobody's ever heard of him. But we'll dig a band out from 40 years ago that people still talk about, and we'll put it out the 17th time in 4 years, and we'll see how many more of them we can sell. We'll not stick anything new on it, but we'll give it a different cover, or we'll put give it a different name. There'll be some idiots that buy it, and I think that there's too much of that going on.
Yeah.
So I think that has something to do with it. Is that they think that there's a generation of fans out there who are stupid enough to buy absolutely everything that they put out, and the prices keep going up and up and up and up and up, and the quality keeps going that way. Sometimes you'll get quality and price going up that way, which I can kind of live with to a certain extent. But it's when prices go that way and quality goes that way that it just somebody needs to say stop. And it's just an unregulated market.
I was sent a box set to review for this issue, and it's got arguably the worst cover art I've ever seen on a box set to date. And it really upset me because the albums are brilliant. And I was like, fancy packaging it like this. But probably was cheap. That's almost certainly the answer.
Yeah.
It is a shame because, like you said, there's some great stuff out there that's just let down by the artwork. I mean, Dave raised a point at the beginning, I think, saying that sometimes you bought the album without knowing the band simply based on the artwork itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember doing that with Annihilator, an album from Annihilator. It had a brilliant cover on it. I had no idea what they were. I was about 13, 14 at the time, stuck it on, and the songs didn't exactly appeal, let's put it that way. It's a bit too metally for screaming for my thing. But I tell you one thing, the album cover was absolutely fantastic. So they got the
bit too heavy for your delicate ears, that.
it wasn't, especially at 6. And I remember my mum yelling up the stairs, "What the hell's that? Turn that racket down!" And I did have to agree with her. But I tell you one thing, the album cover was absolutely brilliant. It really was. So, chaps, quick question: have you ever bought an album just based on the cover, not knowing the band itself?
Absolutely.
Go on then. Who?
Well, first thing that jumps ready to the mind is Fireworks by Bonfire.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard of Bonfire. Went into the vinyl emporium in the town back in the day. This was sat in the racks, and that cover was there. I thought, wow, what's this? I'm going to love this. Took it home, bought it. It was brilliant. But there's been loads of them, Pete.
Yeah.
Loads of bands over the years. Less so now. I mean, nobody should be in a position to buy and blind now.
No.
It just shouldn't happen. There's access to so much music on the internet. You should try it out. Yeah. You're an idiot if you buy it blind. But yeah, back in the day, plenty of them.
Yeah. And James, have you ever done that as well?
Not so much buying, because like I said, when I started, things had sort of transitioned mine to CDs. So my musical journey started by reading my dad's vinyl, and I did pull out like Rainbow Rising, Love Hunter by Whitesnake, things like that because of the covers. Because I knew all this is rock stuff. I didn't know where to start. And like Rising straight away, the big hand coming out with the rainbow, that looks awesome. First thing I thought was I want to have a go at drawing that. Second thing I thought was I want to listen to this. Same with Love Hunter. There's a few. Down to Earth by Rainbow was another good one. Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy. With the vinyl on that, because it had the cutout and you had the illustration underneath. I actually did that for an art project. I had to try and recreate it. Because going back to proper artist, Jim Fitzpatrick, he was great.
Yeah.
There's a few. I like Chinatown by Thin Lizzy as well. The album cover on that was really good. I had a go at recreating that. And then moving into the 80s, Kind of Magic with Queen. When it was like the animated figures. I like that too.
Yeah, but I think that we've got that's what we've gone away from. It was always, the cover was an extension of the music and the experience of listening to it. And I think that is a shame, but we've lost that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll ever get it back, if I'm honest. And maybe this generation don't care. It could come packaged in a brown paper bag. They won't give a toss. But it's such a shame, because it was such a part of the experience of discovering an album, was finding it, thinking, wow, that looks great. Looking at it, taking it home, sticking it on, and thinking, yeah, it sounds great too.
Yeah. So
that's a bit of a lost art, really.
I agree. I mean, hopefully with people like James and Tristan doing what they do and doing it so well, you never know. Art covers may make a comeback to what they once were. But like Dave and James has pointed out as well, with AI probably facing a losing battle, I think, unfortunately.
Have you seen the Steve Plunkett album that's come out?
No.
You heard the Steve Plunkett album?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Not only is the cover generated by AI, I think pretty much all the songs are too.
Yeah.
It is absolutely horrendous. I saw the review of it in Fireworks, and it got pasted, and rightfully so, so I was intrigued. And I had a look, and I was like, well, the cover's all AI. And then I looked, it was like, the songs just sound like you basically said to some machine, knock us up a Bon Tempi backing track, and Steve's going to sing over it. It's like, it's appalling. And that's what I mean. It's like the sliding scale. So at one end, you've got bands who really make the effort and then go all out and package it and then you've got this where I reckon that will have taken an afternoon at the most.
Yeah, from start to finish, from songwriting to finished product, I think.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Horrible.
Oh, it's frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening. As an aside, I must say that I had to lie to my mum and say it was probably one of the best albums I'd ever heard, that Annihilator one, because she would have gone ape at me for spending 16 quid or whatever it was on it. So
which one was it? Alice in Hell? Which was the first one?
I can't remember. It never got played again after that first time. Sorry.
I'm loving the fact that you bought an album by a band called Annihilator and then was surprised it was heavy.
Joe, James, I have a mute button and I'm going to use it in a minute.
1-0 to James. Yeah.
Yes. I was young and naive. Let me just put it that way. I thought everyone sounded like Queen. How wrong I was when I put that album on. Anyway, so quick pod. Dave, you like the old-fashioned CD cases, yeah?
I don't mind either.
No.
If it's done properly, In terms of old-fashioned CD cases, you mean dual cases from 20 years ago? I'll take dual cases from 20 years ago over modern versions because the plastic's a lot more durable.
Fair enough.
But if a package is put together, I don't really mind what it's in, whether it's encased in plastic or whether it's a digipack, if it looks good. But if it looks naff and it looks cheap and flimsy, that's where I fall down.
And James, what about you? What do you prefer, CD cases or the new style digipack?
Dual case all the way. I don't like digipacks. The only digipack kind I'll accept is the ones that are done like little hardback books.
The e-books.
Yeah, those I like because they're a lot more hard wearing.
Yeah.
The digipack problem is every time you open and close it, you're causing wear and tear to the spine because it's cardboard. That's all it is, cardboard with a bit of lamination on. And interestingly enough, I dug out a bunch of old CD singles that I'd had in a box in my top cupboard that had been there years and years and years. Obviously, I don't play them anymore because who bothers with CD singles? But I just was rooting through them, and there's some Bon Jovi in there, there's some Skin, there's some Magnums, all sorts. But it was interesting that, bearing in mind, they've all been sat in this box doing nothing for the best part of 20 odd years. The Magnum one was from 1990, and that was in a cardboard digipack, and it's all like flaked and scuffed, and the spine's all like dried out and cracked. All the Bon Jovi ones from the same era are all in plastic jewel case, and they're fine. So I think jewel case all the way, personally.
Right then, chaps. So to wrap this segment up, what do you think can be made better? How can we get packaging back to how it should be? Is it mainly design? Is it do we need better packaging? Do we, like Dave said, go back to 20 years ago when plastic was plastic and didn't break as soon as you dropped it, or various whatnots? Or are we looking at digipacks as the future? And if so, how can they be made better?
I think digipacks are going to be the future because the world's turning against plastic. Not that we'll ever stop using plastic because it's such a versatile, useful material. But I think in things like that, where you can substitute for plastic and get away with it, and potentially it's cheaper, the industry, I'm afraid, will go for whatever's the cheapest. If you can generate an industry that's going to sell millions of copies, substantial numbers of albums from different artists again, they might change their mind. But no, whatever people, I think ultimately that they are looking at the death knells of the physical market. Whether we like it or not, I think it's irrelevant because the generation that's coming after us won't care. And I think that physical products got a limited life anyway. So I think that whatever it's got left, they'll try and make it as cheap as they possibly can in most instances. I think that's the reality.
Yeah, fair enough. James?
That's probably accurate. I think it's flawed logic, to be honest. I think the better the product you make, the more likely you are to make it sell. Nobody's going to go out of the way to buy a crap product, but you can, like Dave says, some of the CD cases are a bit flimsy now. You can go on the internet and buy much better ones. You shouldn't have to, but you can do that. But some of Rock Candy still use really good quality CD cases.
Yeah.
Universal do for a lot of their releases, to be fair. But yeah, some of them do penny pinch, and it probably is just all about the bottom line, which is a shame. But yeah, I think for me personally, make sure what you're putting out, if you're going to take the trouble to make an album, at least make sure you've got a decent cover for it. I've had bands and artists come to me and just pay me to create just the cover because they're only putting it out digitally, but they still need some cover out for Spotify or whatever. And that's so much better than just putting some AI garbage together that just looks exactly what it is, cheap and nasty.
Yeah. I think the one thing I would say don't need to say it to established artists, the Iron Maidens and whatever of this world have got their finger on the pulse. But I would say to new bands or new artists that haven't done it before or have got limited experience of it, before you actually put something out, imagine you're a fan, you've bought it, you looked it, what would you like? Would this think, yeah, that's 15 quid well spent? And if the answer is no to any of them, think again.
Exactly.
100%, yeah, definitely. All I can say is look at Tristan's artwork. Both Tristan and James, like I said, are both graphics designer. Tristan has an advert, I think, in 108. James, I think, have you got an advert in 108? I can't remember.
Probably. Depends on what space we've got left. But I will do it.
Space.
Yeah.
If by any chance we don't, just give the listeners a website address that they can visit to have a look at what you do.
I'm at www.halo-graphic.com.
Brilliant. And again, again, not just because James is a friend and not just because he's on this podcast and works at Fireworks, but what he does do is superb, along with Tristan as well. They are proper graphics design, and as Dave rightly points out, if you're going to put out a product, you've got to have a cover that grabs the attention. You've got to have something that you want to look at, and AI just doesn't cut it. We know it doesn't. We've discussed this many times before, and the chaps here are giving examples. Get a proper graphics designer, get somebody that can understand your vision and get your vision on paper, get your vision on the cover, and it's going to be a better product. And these people understand that white on black and black on white works, green on red doesn't, and writing so small that even somebody that's got 20/20 plus vision is going to struggle isn't fair on the rest of us poor mortals that have to try and read it. We want to enjoy the packaging, we want to enjoy what you put out as well, but please stop making it so bloody hard for us to do so. I think it's an argument and a debate that we could go on for, because to be fair, there's lots of stuff. You mentioned earbooks, we've mentioned box sets, we mentioned various other whatnots as well that we haven't had time to cover just simply because we have to stop the show at some point, and it's not conducive to go on for hours and hours. But it is a very good subject, and it is one that I'm getting really pissed off with. As I'm getting older, I'm finding it harder. James has got all this to come, being the youngster of the group, and Dave's practically pushing up daisies when it comes to this kind of thing. So 1-0 Pete. So please pay attention to the graphics designers. In this instance, they do know best. Right, so enough of that now. Let us have a song. And this is my choice for today's show. This is Living in a World of Bliss by Prehistoric Animals, and this is from the album Finding Love in Strange Places.
She was
So that was Living in a World of Bliss by Prehistoric Animals, and they're interviewed in our latest edition as well. So another good reason to go and get yourself a copy. The album that comes from is Finding Love in Strange Places. Right. We're going to go to our review section, but it's going to be a bit difficult for the chaps for the simple reason that, like I say, issue 108 is coming out. And the chaps have been busy doing their reviews anyway, but I'm sure they're going to have at least one for us. So, Dave, who has tickled your pickle regards CDs or music, beg your pardon, books or any other kind of media?
Books, I've got a pile that I'm trying to work through, so nothing's sort of jumped out at me that's new. In terms of new albums, there's two. There's one that I've reviewed for this issue, and one that I literally just got I listened to yesterday that actually blew me away. The first one is and by a Norwegian band called Invasion, and it's called Invasion 2. It's the second album, obviously. They're doing it themselves. It's out now as a digital stream or a download, but they've got CDs coming like they did with the first one. They're doing a limited run of CDs. And if you like energetic, melodic 80s rock with a nice metal edge to it, crisp, crunchy guitars, you'll love it. It's great stuff. We'll have a track in the playlist for the issue. There, we put a track up on Cockett's Choice on the website on Facebook a few weeks ago, I think, called Banshee Queen. Dig it out, have a listen, you'll be impressed. I was that impressed that here's a scoop for 109. I'm going to be interviewing him for 109. So that was the first one. The second one is an album that took me by surprise. Not really because I wasn't expecting what they're known for, but because it's the last album that they're going to do, and it's just literally blown me away. And that is the new album by Sweet, would you believe? It's called, excuse me, it's called Full Circle. Now, Sweet, probably most people will remember for things like Wig Wham Bam, Blockbuster, Little Willie, all those sort of chinny chap stuff, cheesy pop songs. Sweet were a band that were caught between two worlds, really. That was the stuff that they're known for. That was the stuff that people remember them. That was the stuff that put them on TV. But really, they were a band that had much more in common with Deep Purple, Uriah Heep, those sorts of bands. You listen to some of the albums, like Sweet Penny Adams, for example, and you'll see a completely different band. Now, the original band split up 80s. There's been a number of different versions since, a la sort of Queensryche, Wishbone Ash, bands like that. The members had fallouts. The one that sort of endured is the one that's got Andy Scott in. Hopefully we'll get to talk to Andy for next issue, so there's another scoop. But this album with Paul Manzi on vocals is absolutely amazing. I'm not kidding you. You get 20 seconds into the opening riff on First Track Circus, and you'll be as blown away as I was. It is punchy, riff-strewn, melodic rock of the highest order. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's out on Metalville on the 20th of September. So all I can say is do yourself a favour, grab a listen to the track that's been released so far as a single, and you won't be disappointed.
Brilliant. Brilliant. James, what have you got for us?
Well, I mentioned the Richie Kotzen one, which is really good. Mog's Motel from Phil Mogg is really good. That came, I wasn't expecting a lot from that, to be honest, because I don't mind UFO. I quite like some of their stuff. I wouldn't say I'm a big UFO fan. I've got 2 or 3 albums, not like the full back catalogue. And that popped up and I was just like, holy shit, how good is this? So yeah, that's well worth a listen. But the one I'm picking is one that I didn't review, but the review from one of our colleagues made me want to check it out. It's Royal Republic's Love Cop. And Royal Republic are a collection of Swedish idiots. They're all lunatics with real good senses of humor. And I reviewed their 4th album, and I had no idea what to make of it because it was like nothing I'd ever heard. And I'm like, I think I like it. I'm not sure because it was so different. And the more I listened to it, the more I started getting into it. But Love Cop takes it to the next level. It's got 80s sort of rock and synths and disco and a sense of humor. And if you put all that in a blender, you've kind of got what Love Cop's about. It sounds weird, and it is, but it's weird in a good way. Even they describe themselves as Jean-Claude Van Damme pinning Celine Dion and Michael Bolton having a sweaty one-night stand with Metallica. Right? So that gives you an idea of their sense of humor. And the music does live up to that. I like disco, and they've got disco in there. I like 80s rock, and they've got 80s rock in there. And I like sort of 80s pop, and they've got that in there. And the singer's got a massive handlebar mustache, and the videos are funny. What more do you want? But every song on it is just really entertaining. And I listen to a lot of stuff to and from work. And I was walking to the office listening to Love Cop, and I was like 3 songs in, and I realized I've been grinning the entire time. And when it was reviewed in the last issue of Fireworks, I think it was Paul reviewed it, and he summed it up as it's a massive sugar rush of musical excellence. And that's pretty much spot on. It is one of those albums you put it on, it's really in your face, and it's just really good fun. And I've been playing it and playing it, and it's not lost any of its charm. So check out the videos as well because they are just ridiculous, and you'll see what I mean. It's all very 80s, very tongue in cheek, and really, really well done.
I think even the name of the group, it's one of those. I don't know, it sounds like a 1970s porn film, doesn't it? Love Cop. It's kind of it's starring Indiana Jones and Cliff Banger. That sounds interesting. I think I'm gonna have to check that one out. It's
Well, if the listeners like the track I picked earlier in the show,
yeah.
just that opens the album, so that gives you like what you got to expect. But there's not a dud on it. I loved everything. It was brilliant.
And coming from James saying that is actually high praise indeed. So yeah, check them out. We've got loads of reviews in the magazine. Check, have a read, check out what we say. You don't have to agree with us, of course. If you don't, drop us a line, let us know. But what we always try and do is at least be honest with the reviews, as that we do. So hopefully you'll see that coming through when you read them, and you can act upon them. We have lots of people saying because of your reviews we went out and bought an album, which I think is probably one of the highest parts of praise that we can get. Is if you like what we write and then you go out and buy them, superb. Benefits us, benefits the artist as well. So brilliant. No, thank you for that, chaps. Brilliant. Yeah. So we're going to go on now to the game that these two chaps love the most, mainly because they're crap at it. And that is the lyrics game. So, gentlemen, are you ready? Dave?
Yeah, don't forget you promised to sing them this week.
Oh,
yeah, you did.
No, I did not. I did listen back to the previous one. And I did not say I was going to sing them. And although
you must have cut that bit out.
It's one of those things that when you read them and you know the song, it's remarkably difficult to read them out properly without having the song going through your head and obviously, doing the old. Everyone watched Fools and Horses when he's singing that. He's talking to Del Boy talking to someone else about you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. That kind of line. He's trying hard not to sing it. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's absolutely hilarious. Right, Dave, pin your ears back. These are your two. The first one's supposed to be easy. The second one's meant to be a bit more difficult.
Okay.
First one. Working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill.
Oh, God, yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Silence and...
Don't Stop Believing.
By...
Journey.
Indeed it is. Yeah, well done. Released in 1981. Apparently voted the best rock song ever, according to...
By Neil Schon.
Yes, possibly. Indeed. No, I think it's some official music thing saying it's the most listened to or the most popular song or something like that. So, yeah. Right, your more difficult one, Dave, is treating people just like pawns in chess. Wait till their judgment day comes, yeah.
No idea.
You sure?
No, just doesn't ring a bell at all. It's probably Iron Maiden, but no idea.
No, it's not. No, I did toy with the idea of making you look a right chump with one of your favourite groups, but no, it's not. It's Black Sabbath. War Pigs.
Is it really?
It is.
I would have got that in a million years.
No, me neither.
1970. Okay, so your bonus question, Dave. Let's see if you can save a bit of face. The song War Pigs was a protest song aimed at which war?
Vietnam.
Indeed, yeah. And what did Geezer Butler fear the most?
Can't remember.
Being drafted. Even though drafting in England had actually, the UK, big band, had actually stopped a year beforehand because of the Vietnam War. Apparently, lots of young men were afraid of being drafted, and he wrote this song as well as a kind of I'm frightened of it. So there you go. Right, James, your two. So again, the first one's supposed to be slightly easier than the second one.
Okay.
Your first one, but Frank Zappa and the Mothers were at the best place around.
Yeah, I can handle that one. That's Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple.
I thought you might get that one.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Softball. Lovely.
You're welcome. Right then, the second one, hopefully, is a bit more tougher. This mountain I must climb feels like a world upon my shoulders.
Oh, now I know this one.
You need to.
Oh. This mountain. Oh.
Yeah.
I know it and I've got it and I can't think what it is.
I think. Do I get a bonus point?
Go on, Dave, give it a shot.
I think it's Foreigner I want to know what love is.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, Dave. Well done, mate. Right.
Yeah, well played.
Yep. James, your bonus question. Let's see if you can get at least get 2 points out of 3. The lyrics to Smoke on the Water are based on a true event. What is that true event?
It was a Frank Zappa concert at Montreux Casino when somebody fired a flare gun and set it on fire.
Yeah.
And Ian Gillan saw the smoke just resting on the lake. And he basically sat bolt upright in bed one night and went, "Smoke on the Water." And then it became a song. And it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely spot on. And for a bonus point, what year was it that the event happened?
Early 70s, so it was 1972.
Dave, have you got another idea?
Yes, 72. 71, I think.
So you're saying 71, James, you're saying 72.
71, 72, it's something like that. Can't quite, yeah.
Dave, you're right. It's
19... Too late now, no. It's too late at night now, I'm not having my tea.
19... Yeah, no, you were spot on. Hungry Stomach and All, 1971. Very close, though, James.
Well, I wasn't born. That's my excuse.
Yeah. You have the bonus point for such a great explanation. It was indeed, yeah, Frank Zappa concert. Right. We are going to have another song just after this partner advert.
Pyrotechnics is proudly sponsored by Fireworks Rock and Metal Magazine. 164 pages packed full of interviews, reviews, and features all about your favourite genres of music. Our latest edition is available from our website, fireworks-magazine.com, or visit your local WH Smiths or McCall's. UK subscriptions are now just £32 for 4 issues. Fireworks Rock and Metal Magazine. For enthusiasts, by enthusiasts.
And welcome back. This is Dave's song now, so his choice. He's already alluded to what it's going to be. It is Burning Like a Falling Star by Sweet from the album Full Circle.
It's getting
And there we have Dave's choice, Burning Like a Falling Star by Sweet from Full Circle. And Dave, again, is correct. It's an absolute belter. And if the rest of the album is as good as this one, and as obviously Dave has said in his reviews part, sounds like the band have got a winner there. Really does. Right, gentlemen. A while back ago, it feels probably like an eternity now, I asked you to make your hairiest hairband that you can possibly think of. Of course, this has to be recognised people that have beautiful flowing locks, not sponsored at all by Pantene or Head and Shoulders, any of that. Just damn good hair, like any good rock star should be able to do. Flick their hair back and mosh with the best of them. Now, just to remind the listeners, for the singers, James chose Joey Tempest, Dave chose Kip Winger. And for their drummers, James was rather annoyed because Dave did pinch his choice, and that was of Animal. So James had to go with Eric Carr from Kiss. So we have James, like I say, with Joey Tempest and Eric Carr, and Dave with Kip Winger and Animal. So this time, chaps, your bassists. I want to hear your hairy bassists. So, James, give us your choice. I'll let you go first, just in case Dave's pinched it again.
Well, I did have one in reserve, but I'm going to have Dusty Hill from ZZ Top.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was just a massive hair. He was literally a hat, sunglasses and hair, beard, the full works. That was it.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm having.
I would go with that. That's an excellent choice. Go on then, Dave, beg your pardon. Who is your hair?
I narrowed it down to two again, just in case James beat me with one of them. I went with Merv Goldsworthy from FM and Rick Savage from Def Leppard. I think I'll go with Merv. That was my first choice.
Yeah, another good one. Oh yeah, Rick Savage would have been a brilliant one as well. Yeah, he certainly had the flowing gold locks, didn't he? And he still has, to be fair. I don't know if they're quite as golden as they were, but he's certainly still got them.
More silver these days.
More silver.
Well, because Dave picked Animal last time, which is what I was going to pick, I was like, what else? So that's when I thought of like ZZ Top. It's like it's just all hair like Animals. So I'm going. That's why I went to Steel. But yeah, that's a good shout with Merv.
Didn't the Muppets have they had a band in there? And didn't the bassist in there, or one of the guitarists, have that really long? Was it based on Slash, the character, when the hat and the really long hair as well? And
that would be before Slash.
Was it? Oh, I think who?
Muppets. That were way before Slash. That was. I've no idea what it was based on, to be honest. It's
long blonde hair that went sort of all the way down to his knees. I'm sure there was a character. I could be making it up, of course, but memory isn't what it used to be. But I'm sure there was. Brilliant. I'm surprised, to be fair, you lot didn't all choose puppets just to really annoy me. I let Animal go, but just because he was so brilliant. But yeah, superb. Right. It's the answer to the quiz time. So, as you well may remember, at the beginning of this show, I did set these to a quiz question. And like I said, James is losing 2-0, so it is his chance to try and at least half the deficit. And that question is, which of these groups' first album to enter the charts peaked the highest? And these results are by the officialcharts.com. So, like I said, if you do get annoyed with it, have a go at them, not me, because I didn't write it. So the 5 choices were Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden, Queen 2 by Queen, and again, just as an aside, Queen 2 actually charted before Queen, which was their original debut album. Let There Be Rock by AC/DC, On Through the Night by Def Leppard, and Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. So, James, let's go to you. What is your guess for the album that entered the charts, peaked the highest?
Well, I'm going to do the opposite of what I've done in all the previous quizzes because that hasn't worked. My heart wants to say Queen because they're one of like the most successful bands that the UK has ever produced. But I don't think they hit the stride at Queen 2. I think that started from Sheer Heart Attack onwards. So from the bands you've named, I would say Maiden, because I think Maiden have always been pretty successful. So I could see their first album charting pretty highly. That would be my guess anyway.
Okay, so James has gone with Iron Maiden. Dave?
I initially, like James, I thought Queen. I jumped for Queen. I'm not sure that the first Leopard and first Maiden albums would have charted highly enough, given what sales figures you needed to chart at that sort of time. If you'd have said Number of the Beast or something like that, absolutely. But I'm not sure that Iron Maiden did. And the AC/DC one, I'm not sure. It wasn't the first album by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not sure that did. I'm going to go with Black Sabbath because I just think that sprang from nowhere. I think it was Sabbath.
Right. So Dave, Black Sabbath, and James, Iron Maiden. Okay. Iron Maiden peaked at number 4. Queen 2 peaked at number 5. Let There Be Rock reached number 17. So good shout there, Dave. On Through the Night by Def Leppard reached number 15. Black Sabbath reached number 8. So, James, well done. You have half the deficit. You're now only losing 2.
Right. So I know what I have to do now. Whatever I think, just do the opposite.
Just do the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, I was surprised by the Queen one. I didn't think it actually peaked that high, to be fair. I think the original debut, obviously Queen, the album, was something like 27 or something. So that was even lower. But it actually came after Queen 2 for reasons that I know James will know the answer to. But for some reason, Queen 2 debuted before Queen. There you go. But yeah, Iron Maiden.
Only because Queen didn't make the top 40. I'm guessing we took in top 40.
Yeah, they made.
So only because it wouldn't have made the top 40, only on the back of sales of Queen 2, people are going to pick Queen up.
Possible, yeah. I must admit,
because if I remember rightly, Queen 2 had like some semblance of success. I think I'd Keep Yourself Alive on it, which was
the big one.
But they didn't really hit their stride till Sheer Heart Attack, when you had Kill the Queen and things like that, and that's when they started in the ascendancy.
Yeah.
Yep, totally right. So well done, James. Yes, Iron Maiden indeed was the answer. Number 4. Right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed Pyrotechnics. It's like I say, we do apologise as it's been so long in coming, this edition. We will try and do better next time and try and get some more regular content out for you. As you've already guessed, issue 108 is available for pre-order. So please head on over to the website, fireworks-magazine.com. You can't miss where to pre-order it. It's got that many adverts all plastered over the website that you should be able to find it. If you can't, head over to the shop, because that's a really good place to find what we sell, to be fair with you. We've got loads of digital editions as well. We've got loads of back issues on printed copies. There is albums, CDs, DVDs. My God, you name it, it's probably on the website. We've also got tickets for Firefest, the returning melodic rock festival that is coming in October 11th, 12th, and 13th at Manchester Academy. Please do grab tickets. There's some great acts. Chance to probably see them possibly for the last time on these shores. Maybe even chance to see some for the first time on these shores. So history will be made no matter which way you look at it. So grab your tickets while you can get them. And don't forget, have a look at our website as well, just for the fact that we've got loads of free stuff on there. There's interviews with the stars under Vocal Point. There is news galore. There's, like Dave says, there's playlists. There's Dave's Choice. He puts a track up every week when I remember to stick it up in time, that is. Before I get the evils glared at me from our deputy editor.
Struggle to get the staff.
Yeah, can't get the staff indeed, yeah. But there's loads of stuff. You know, we're not just there to sell magazines. We do try and give you free content as well that you can enjoy. So, you know, have a look at it, see what you think. Come and interact with us on our social media channels as well. We've got Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it nowadays. There's Instagram, TikTok. We've got playlists on Spotify. We're practically everywhere that you can think of. We'll be there. And if we're not, let us know and we'll soon be there as well. So again, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. We really do appreciate it. If you have any feedback, again, please let us know. If, as the TV disclaimer said, if anything that you've heard or read or seen in this program has affected you in any which way, apart from the dreadful jokes and stuff like that, let us know. You know, we're always looking to try and make it better. If you think the questions I'm asking James are way too hard, then obviously let us know as well, and I'll try and make them even harder. So yeah, drop us a line. Just let us know if you enjoy it. That will be superb. So before we go, I am just going to let our resident experts say goodbye. So from our deputy editor, the bloke who the magazine probably wouldn't be around without, Mr. Dave Cockett. Thank you very much for joining us, Dave.
Yeah, been a pleasure as always. Thanks for listening, everybody. Look forward to seeing you next time.
And again, the gentleman who this magazine made, it just looks so great because of his hard work, and he does put a lot of hard work into it, to be fair with you. Our art editor, Mr. James Gaden. Thank you so much for joining us, James.
My pleasure. Thank you for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.
Until next time, take care. Keep listening to the music that you listen to, and above all, enjoy it. That's what it's there for. And hopefully it won't be another 2-month wait before we speak to you again. So everybody, please take care. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, please do us a favour and subscribe, like or follow, depending on what platform you're listening to this on, this channel, because it really does help us to grow as a brand. And obviously the better we get at this, the more followers and more likes and more subscribers we get, we can try and get better guests on, which obviously makes for a better programme for you guys. So again, please follow, like, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thank you.